Hello, BookTube. I have a tiny little mail haul for you here. This is not the day's mail. This was just one delivery man. It was a package that I knew was coming, and I asked the delivery man in question if he would keep an eye out for it and maybe get it to me as soon as he could. Maybe not wait until the truck is full. Maybe swing by as soon as he gets it. And he said, well, anything to keep Miss Frida happy, because at the moment that I was asking him this, she was squealing and cavorting all around him. I didn't correct him. I didn't say, well, actually, she doesn't care what's in this package. Instead, I let that go. I'll ride her coattails if it'll get me my mail early. And I did. The box came today. I think I know what's in here. I also got a periodical, believe it or not. I got a book catalog, Labyrinth Books, which immediately brought back a flood of memories. I used to get, these things used to fall like falling autumn leaves through the mail slot. And I wonder how many of you feel the same way. How many of you have those memories? They're all but gone now. But once upon a time, you got book catalogs from everybody. Everybody. Every big remainder house, but also all of the old bookstores used to have them. I used to work on the Barnes & Noble book catalog. Crocs and Patanos had them. Uh, you would get catalogs from your bookstore. You would get catalogs from every publisher. You would get catalogs from every remainder house. I almost never see them anymore. And I almost feel when I do get one in the mail, I almost feel like I should order something from them, but I always end up talking myself out of it. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case here. Sometimes, Labyrinth Books, I believe, is a remainder house. So, because it's certainly not a mainstream publisher that I know of. So there might be things in here. The odd thing, an odd hardcover that is stuck with me, that is stuck in my mind that I didn't really think would stick in my mind, so I got rid of it. I got rid of the copy that I got from the publisher. But they're offering one, for $8, something like that. I used the Brattle Bookshop here in Boston as my yardstick. If I'm going through a catalog like this and I encounter something that at a price that I would pay at the Brattle, then I get it. We'll see if Labyrinth Books has anything to offer. But then there's the box. It's a great big thing. It was sent from one of you. It is not a violation of rule number 1 because rule number 1 on this channel is don't send me a book. No matter how natural it seems. It must seem the most natural thing in the world. I've got books all around me here, and in just a few days, I'm going to add an enormous amount of books to the books I already have here. An orgy of books. but even so, I know what I want. I've been reading and handling books for a long, long time. The chances of you getting me a book just blindly that I actually want to keep are almost non-existent. Like I mentioned many times on this channel, there are only 2 people, actually maybe 3, considering next week's visit. Maybe 3. But there's only a tiny handful of people who had any chance of getting that correctly. So don't do it. But if you clear something with me ahead of time, well, then yes, absolutely. Then absolutely you can. If you clear it with me ahead of time and I start to squeal, and if I'm correct in this box, then the person who sent this cleared it with me and then got a lot of squealing, because I go from 0 to 100 when it comes to rule number 1. Rule number 1 is me at 0, me saying no matter what, no matter how enthused you are, don't send me a book, especially don't send it blind. But then there's the 100 end of the spectrum, where if you dangle something that I actually want in front of me, I will be as eager and squealy as a little baby. Gimme, me wanty. And I think that's what this is. I think I subjected the poor sender to that. Oh no! Oh my God, no! Oh, okay, no, I was wrong. This is not that. Son of a gun. Okay, so that squealing is yet to come. Wow. So I'm not even prepared for this. I have a prop that I could use for this. Well, bless the people at St. Martin's. That is wonderful. I'm going to have to get on to the publicist. They just never let me down. They just never do. They never let me down. Recently on this channel, we got the 3rd volume in a fantasy series by Jonathan Mayberry. I asked a bunch of you if you were familiar with it. Didn't get much in the way of response. I think it's flown under the radar of a lot of you. Even a lot of the fantasy people out there, the diehard fantasy fans, don't watch my channel because I'm a hated outcast. I'm a leper. I'm a pariah on BookTube. But it was not the. I got that volume, and I was pretty sure I'd never got any others. So I dropped a line to the publicist, asked if maybe the others could be sent so that I can be brought up to speed. And that's what these are. This box is not actually the thing I was expecting at all. Instead, I got the 2 earlier volumes, Kagan the Damned, with a cover blurb by Michael Moorcock. Good Lord, that doesn't get much better than that. And Son of the Poison Rose. These, I don't know exactly what I'm dealing with here because this says a Kagan the Damned novel. It does not have a number. Usually it's been my experience with fantasy series that if you're going to call something the so-and-so novel, a so-and-so novel rather than number whatever in whatever series, then you're probably just going to keep writing about this, and it's not a discrete trilogy. But this at least brings me up to speed. This 1,000 pages will bring me up to speed. And I think when I mentioned Jonathan Mayberry, I think I forgot to leave links. I've reviewed a few of his books and quite enjoyed them. One of his books was a zombie novel called Patient Zero that came out a long time ago. It came out right as I was getting back into the world of book reviewing. I had been, for those of you who are new to this channel, I had been a book reviewer and a book section editor, a critic, a columnist in the American Midwest for a number of different venues in the American Midwest for a long time, a very long time ago. And then I stopped. I got out of that business. I went into retail bookselling because I had some cockamamie idea about how it would bring me closer to the customer. And I stayed out of that world for a long time. I actually thought that I would just stay out of it forever. Not only because I thought that I would retire in bookselling, which any of you who are in retail bookselling will know that is not possible anymore. You are not being offered a living. So you can't do that anymore. Once upon a time you could, and I remembered that world. I think that's what drove my, I guess you could call it a career plan. But the other reason why I thought that I would never go back to that world is because it's almost never done. It's almost impossible that someone is in that world. You start to make all sorts of contacts. You start to get to know people. And then you leave it. If you're gone I was gone for a quarter of a century. I was gone for 25 years. Ordinarily, the second reason I would think I wouldn't go back to it is because it wouldn't want me. But it did. I actually managed to return to the world of professional book reviewing. That was wonderful. That was kind of a third act surprise that you don't expect. That I didn't expect in my life, and that actually happened. And right as I was doing that, I was reconnecting with the publishing world. I was gently trying to figure out which old friends of mine were dead. It turned out that a few old friends of mine had just kept ascending in the ranks in those 25 years and are now poobahs in the publishing world. Quite a few people move on. Most publicists, you get a job at a publicist. As a publicist at a publishing house, you're typically not all that well paid. The work is typically not all that rewarding. Publicists tend to move around a lot. Their goal is either to find some sort of connection to a more satisfying part of publishing, or move around and gain enough seniority so that you can start to work with the books you actually love, as opposed to just whatever your house's fall lineup is. So I got both of those as I came back into the publisher world, and I was eager to do it. Once I got the taste back for doing it, I wondered and still wonder why I ever left. And Patient Zero was one of the earliest books that it had to be the first couple of years that I was coming back and getting my taste for all things and reacquainting the publishing world with the new people in the publishing world with the fact that if I request a review copy of a scholarly work on the late Byzantine Empire, that I could very much ask you for a zombie novel the next week. I'm not a niche reviewer at all. So I'll have to remember. I'll try to remember to leave a link to any Jonathan Mayberry reviews that I've done. But this is great. I now have 1,000 pages of fantasy to read. This is great. Okay, well, that's a little bit surprising. So this is not the box that I was thinking of. So that will still be coming. So this is as an actual mail haul. Okay. Well, once again, I will ask any of you fantasy readers out there, do you know Jonathan Mayberry? Do you know his fantasy novels? I don't know if he's written any other fantasy novels. Okay. Okay, there are some covers here. He's prolific, and he's really, really good. Dogs of War is listed here. I read that and really liked it. And Patient Zero is listed here. I guess it has a sequel called Code Zero. I don't think I ever read that. This author's terrific, absolutely terrific. But I don't think if he's ever written fantasy, I've never read it. Have you? Do you know these Kagan books? Naturally, you longtime Law and Order fans are going to be thinking of something else, someone else named Kagan. I don't think this is the same guy. But anyway, I've now got fantasy to read, a ton of fantasy to read. So I will wrap this up. I am sure there will be another mail. Don't know if it'll be today. This was not what I was expecting, but a squealy package is coming. So I'll wrap this up and we'll talk about that when it happens. Thank you.